Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. You have a friend in the media, which is myself. Excited to get you up to date on the latest news, injury updates, and transactions for this Carolina Panthers team as we are in week, drumroll, 14, about to take on the Philadelphia Eagles up in Philadelphia. Guess what? I'm excited, man. The whole crew currently will be there in Philadelphia. So the normal production that you get here in Charlotte, you're actually going to get to see that in Philadelphia. I will be down on the field. I'm working on a special guest. I'm not going to jinx it, but hopefully that'll come true. If not, you're still going to have me getting you up to date with all the latest news. Hey, we're also trying to increase our subscribers, all right? So next goal is 15,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, maybe watch this every now and then, please do your boy a big favor. Hit that subscribe button so that we can continue to grow and continue to do big things. Tomorrow, Eddie Pinheiro, again, it's not on him. Hopefully you guys have been understanding that as I've been presenting that. Tomorrow's interview, one-on-one sit down with offensive lineman Robert Hunt. All right, again, tomorrow, one-on-one sit down interview with Robert Hunt. You guys have asked me to bring those back, and I am. So if you have questions that you want me to ask Robert, make sure you leave them in the comments, and I'll have a chance. Don't do it tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be prepping and going down to the stadium, all this equipment to do it. But let me know today. All right, enough. Let's go ahead and get into the cover. What's up, Roadmaster? No, Evero is not fired yet. And you got to stay tuned because I got actually information particularly pertinent to Evero. So stay tuned, Roadmaster. And then Tyree Ross, what's going on? If you guys see me squinting, I'll still try not to wear my glasses on camera yet. But I had to squint a little bit to check that out. Hopefully you guys can hear me better. That's why I'm wearing this headset. But let's go ahead and get into these. Let's start with the latest transactions for the Carolina Panthers because we had yesterday quite a few transactions that took place. This probably sounds a little bit better now like this, but we had actually quite a few transactions that took place yesterday on the screen for you guys here. Signed outside linebacker Thomas Nkoum to the practice squad. He's back with us. Signed tight end Dominique Daphne to the practice squad. We got some tight ends that are banged up, so I can see why we did that. Signed running back Imani Bailey to the practice squad. I see you with the super chat. I'm going to come to that in just a second. We need them. Greatly appreciate it. We signed wide receiver T.J. Luther to the practice squad. And then, of course, we had to make some corresponding moves. We released safety Alex Cook from our practice squad, and we released wide receiver Sam Pickney from the practice squad. And then, well, here you can see why we signed some running backs and some tight ends. We had to place two of them on the injured list. So that was tight ends Stephon Sullivan. He is now on the practice squad injured list. And then we placed running back Dylan Johnson on the practice squad injured list. So lots of transactions, again, emphasizing these all took place yesterday, not today. Team just getting some things, some depth on the roster realigned there, dealing with those current injuries that they have. So we're going to get into the injury report here in just a second, but let me go ahead and give a big shout out and thank you for the super chat.
Super chat.
From Shannon Tyler. Character appearing from behind a cloud saying hiya. Hey, however you want to say hey, it's fine with me. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate the super chat. It helps, man. It helps independent media 100%. So financially supported by you guys. So these trips, the productions, the cameras, we need it. It helps. And by the way, there's still a link in the description for our GoFundMe. We're like $500 still away. It's kind of like we got to the sticking point. Need one more piece of equipment for our live broadcast to be even better, and hopefully we'll be able to get there before the end of the season because I think you guys will enjoy the enhanced quality from that. But Shannon Tyler, thank you so much for the support. Let's go over the injury report. This is a routine right here. Outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney. He always gets a rest day every single week. Don't know how much that guy has in the tank after this season. Not that he couldn't play, but he gets his rest day every single week. Cornerback Caleb Farley, I'm sorry, Jadavian did not practice. Caleb Farley was limited in practice today with his shoulder. Linebacker Josie Jewell, sorry I forgot to put that out there, but linebacker Josie Jewell was limited in practice today with his hamstring. And we're going to give a little round of applause here. Tight end Jatavian Sanders, who got carted off the field a couple of weeks ago with the neck brace and everything due to his injury. He's back at practice today. He was limited in practice. DJ Wanham, no, it's not a new. There's a typo there, so you guys don't have to get at me too much in the comments. But DJ Wanham, with a knee injury, was limited in practice today. And these last two are just some good news. I don't normally put full participant on here, but let's do this one more time. A little round of applause for wide receiver Jalen Coker, who coach expects to play. Can't deem it 100% at this moment, but they had practice today, and today's practice was a non-contact practice, but nevertheless, Jalen ran around, did well, and he still is pretty trending in the right direction for being able to play this Sunday against the Eagles. And then lastly, we had safety Nick Scott, who was dealing with a hamstring. He is a full participant in practice, so he as well is trending towards being a active player, or at least possible, an active player this Sunday in Philadelphia versus the Eagles. So those are all your injury updates, and I see some more comments coming. So let's go ahead and start with Evero, since you guys are talking about him. Roadmaster's talking about him. Taylor's talking back. Interestingly enough, Dave Canales was asked pretty much, is Evero's, are you sure he's still the right guy? Here's his response.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the consistency of his messaging, and it's echoing all through the building. It's just talking about the fundamentals, fundamental execution, and not backing off of those things. This is how we do things, guys. This is how we play these calls. This is how we tackle. There's a plan and a process for all of it. And I've just watched Jero just through this season to just stay consistent to the messaging, and that's where the progress has continued to stack up. If we can keep the principles the same and our messaging simple, then the guys have something that they can really grasp onto.
So currently, call it coach speak if you want, but currently Dave Canales is still high on Coach Evero. So yeah, I want to play that. I'll let you guys decide how you feel about it. I kind of feel like some people that just want him out is not going to change. So again, I just like to bring information straight from the horse's mouth so you guys can decide. You may want to change. You may want to stay with your current opinion. But I go and get the information for you. So yes, who asked about Miles Sanders? Roadmaster asked about Miles Sanders, and Taylor Sheridan correctly said Sanders is out. He probably has, I think last week was his first week out, which would have been against the Bucs. So it has 3 more, 1, 2, 3. So he's not eligible to come back until the game against Tampa, at which point there'll be 2 games left. I don't see Miles Sanders putting on a uniform anymore on a Sunday for the Carolina Panthers. I could be wrong. It would be shocking to me by far, because Jonathan Brooks played his first game, only had 2 carries, played his second game. I don't know how many carries Brooks had, but he was effective, and so effective in one series that he had, I don't know, off the top of my head, maybe 5 of 7 touches in that one drive, and Chuba just standing there on the sideline. So if you got your rookie running back that was a high draft pick in the 2nd round doing well, doing better than Sanders, I don't think you're going to rush to bring Sanders back and then you'd have to put Brooks back on the sideline. So nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk about this team and getting over the hump. So I almost want to say that we're getting spoiled or overly anxious because our team has been so bad for so long. It's kind of like a little bit my thought was, why are we getting upset that we're not winning? I mean, we're now at least seeing good football on Sundays, and everything takes steps. Everything's a progression. You still can't go from 0 to 100. You go 0, 1, 2, 3. You might go fast, but it's not instantly there. And I do like the way that this team is trending. But yes, we have lost 2 very close games in a row. We lost to Kansas City on the last-second field goal, and then we lost in overtime to the Tampa Bay Bucs. But the Bucs game did seem more like missed opportunities. So Robert Hunt after the game talked about how this team is close, but they need to learn how to win. And Coach Canales today talked about what that means, learning how to win.
Yeah, it's about the focus that has to be on. It's got to be on point all the way through the finish. Do right longer than the opponent. Can we continue to execute all the way through the finish of the game? And that's where I've seen us have great focus for most of the game. But in those critical situations, the bigger the moment, the smaller the focus. It's about your fundamentals. It's about your footwork, your hand placement. It's about owning your landmarks, all those things, and just executing and having that mentality that if I just do my job consistently, that'll win. And so I think that it comes from just experience and confidence, playing together, knowing you're going to be in these types of situations, to be comfortable with those situations, be comfortable with having to go down and try to win the game in a 2-minute situation, be comfortable with having a lead and finishing in a 4-minute, and defensively getting people off the field, and executing. So I think that's what Rob was alluding to, and that's the message that I've had to our group is we will be here in these situations again, guys. The bigger the moment, the smaller the focus. We don't need great plays. We just need normal plays. Do your normal job just like you know how to do it, and then that leads to winning.
So that's interesting. I forget exactly where I was listening to, but somebody recently was talking about Patrick Mahomes and how good he is, and that whether it's luck, whether it's skill, what is it? And that person just went to the sports psychology part of it all and said it's really that Mahomes and a lot of, not a lot of, but the guys that are great, when situations change and the pressure change and the needs change, the moment for them doesn't make them do anything unordinary. They still continue to be whatever kind of athlete they are. They still can continue to be that athlete. Versus some people, when they get in that situation, they may hesitate a split second longer than they normally would have, or do something different, just slightly different than what is asked of them, and thus they get different results, not the win. And that's essentially what Dave is saying there. Just do the play. Just don't have to do anything spectacular. Just do what's called. So good perspective on that. And yeah, Aaron Patton, good information here. So I will touch on that. I'm glad you talked about it. So former Carolina Panther wide receiver that we got in a draft, with a trade with Pittsburgh, Deontay Johnson, as you know, is quite entertaining before he left Carolina with, is he injured? Is he not injured? Is he mad at things? Anyway, got traded to Baltimore, and that trade was like, man, what are we doing? We paid Baltimore to take him. And now it's funny because Baltimore fans are saying, I wonder if we got Deontay Johnson just so we'd have a compensatory pick for getting him because he's not been anything. So the Baltimore Ravens actually suspended Deontay Johnson today for refusing to enter the game. He didn't have any snaps this week, and now you know why. He refused to enter the game, probably thinking like, hey, I'm not going to hear garbage time. I'm Deontay Johnson. So they said, all right, Deontay, you can continue to chill for a minute, and they suspended him for one game. So just reporting, not cheering for it, not happy for it. Personally, to me, he was taught to me every time I was in the locker room and as a professional in the media. That's all I want is these guys to give me the respect of talking to me in the locker room. He did that for me several times. Chance Hines, one of our members, so we got to show you some love. Chance, what's up? Loving the way Bryce is bouncing back so we can draft defense. Chance, I am with you 100%. Some people talk best player available, and I say unless that best player available is like a tremendously higher talent than the best defensive player available, then let's just go with the best defensive player available because we need help on this defense. A defense that is terrible in the run stop. A defense that's actually a little old in some of the key spots as we're trying to get plug-in play to help us in our time of need. So we definitely need to get on an improvement with our defense and some draft, hopefully. So, hey, appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to get out of here. That gets you up to date with the latest news regarding this Carolina Panthers team. What's up, Antonio? And tomorrow, again, sit-down interview one-on-one with offensive lineman guard Robert Hunt. If you got questions, please leave them in the comments today. Tomorrow's going to be too late because that's when I'm going to be at the stadium setting up for that interview. Thank you all for the support. Remember, subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. We're trying to get to 15,000. need you to do so. Thanks.